What's going on, plugins? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the freshmen for Kentucky, if they should return for their sophomore season or declare for the 2024 NBA draft. Also, I'm going to talk about Coach Cal's future with the team. Before we get into this video, make sure you drop a like. And if you're new here, sub to the channel and become a part of the family. Now, let's get into the video. Going into the 2023-2024 season, Kentucky had a lot of hype. They had the #1 ranked recruiting class, and this is the most talented freshman class Coach Cal had in a long time. Kentucky fans were excited and hoping this team can win an NCAA championship. They were the most fun team to watch in college basketball with their high-scoring offense. This roster holds a special place in the hearts of Kentucky fans because they had so much potential to be great. They had the star freshmen and the veteran players. When you ask people who had the most talented roster this season, most people are going to say Kentucky. But with all that talent, the season ended in a disappointment. Kentucky crashed and burned at the end of the season. The season was filled with a bunch of highs and lows, and it seemed like things were clicking for this team when they won a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season. But in the SEC tournament, they took a huge step back and suffered a tough loss to Texas A&M. It was a lot of things that went wrong this game, things that were hurting them this entire season, such as their defense. They had one of the worst defenses in college basketball. Then they were a 3rd seed in the NCAA tournament, and if you've been following the channel this season, I have been making a lot of Kentucky basketball videos, and I really had high hopes for this team, and I believe they were going to do something special in March Madness, but they ended up losing in the first round to Oakland. And to be honest, Kentucky fans can't even be upset about this game. Jack Gohlke had one of the best games of his college basketball career. He couldn't miss this game. He made 10 threes, and he dropped 32 points on Kentucky. Looking back at this game, it wasn't much Kentucky could have done. They were playing good defense on him, contesting shots. He was just greening everything. Jack gave his team the confidence they needed to beat Kentucky. If this guy didn't come off the bench dropping 10 threes, I believe Kentucky would have won this game. But in March Madness, anything can happen. It just so happened they ran into a player and team that were hot. I wish this Kentucky team didn't go out the way they did. I was in disbelief for a few days watching them lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament. But now that the season's over, what's next for the freshmen and Coach Cal? First, let's talk about the freshmen and whether or not they should come back for their sophomore season or declare for the 2024 NBA draft. The first freshman we're going to talk about is DJ Wagner. Going into his freshman season, it was a lot of hype surrounding him. He had some high expectations, and me personally, I was hyped to see how DJ Wagner would do in college. If you're an OG to the channel, I've been covering him since his junior year of high school. I have been a big supporter of DJ Wagner. He ended the season averaging 9.9 points, 1.9 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and he shot 40.5% from the field and 29.2% from three. Before the season started, he was projected to be a top 5 pick, but him struggling this season, his draft stock took a hit. He won't be a lottery pick, but he's still projected to go late in the first round, which might be a good thing for him because he could go to a good team. He won't have the pressure to be a franchise player as soon as he enters the NBA, but I feel like he should come back for one more season and develop into a better player. In the game against Oakland, he scored 0 points. He was 0 for 5 from the field and 0 for 4 from 3. So the last memory NBA scouts have of DJ Wagner is him scoring 0 points in his NCAA tournament debut. His draft stock was already low, and this game definitely hurt his draft stock even more. He was trending on X after this game, and people were saying some negative things about him, and honestly, I feel bad for DJ Wagner. He's a talented player with a lot of potential. He just had a bad season. I still believe he's a great basketball player. 1 year doesn't define you. Also, he suffered an ankle injury. Before this ankle injury, he was playing well, and it seemed like he was getting better on offense, but after he came back from the injury, he was never the same. So I feel like him coming back for another season would be the best thing for him so he can boost his draft stock. He needs to become a better jump shooter. He struggled a lot shooting from 3. I think it was a point this season he went a month without making a 3. He's an elite slasher, but he struggles sometimes finishing over bigger players, so when he's not making shots at the rim and his jump shot's not falling, which was happening a lot during the season, he basically can't do nothing on offense. But after another year of college basketball, he's going to get better shooting the ball. I think he should be playing shooting guard instead of point guard. He's at his best when he's playing off the ball and getting to the rim. But he can be a point guard, and he knows how to run an offense, but playing shooting guard might be the best fit for him. But whatever path he chooses, whether staying in college or going to the NBA, I'm wishing him nothing but the best moving forward. Bradshaw was ranked 6th in the 2023 recruiting class. He was teammates with DJ Wagner in high school. Bradshaw is one of those players that many people assume will come into Kentucky and be a dominant big man. Coming out of high school, he's a big who could space the floor, he could score in the paint, and he had a solid jump shot. Before the season started, he was sidelined with a foot injury, so he missed a lot of stuff in the offseason, and he missed a few games to start the season. He ended the season averaging 4.9 points, and 3.3 rebounds, and shooting 57.6% from the field and 28.6% from three. He had an up and down season, and he had some struggles on offense, defense, and rebounding. On offense, I feel like they should let him take more jump shots and use him heavy in the pick and roll. That would have helped him get easy looks shooting the ball and getting to the rim. Towards the end of the season, Coach Cal barely gave him any minutes, which was odd to me, especially the last 3 games of the season. He combined for 12 minutes, and the game against Oakland, he was playing well, so I don't know why he didn't play a lot in that game. Aaron Bradshaw could declare for the 2024 NBA draft and get drafted in the first round based off potential. He's a 7-footer with a high ceiling. He's signed to Clutch Sports, and they're going to make sure he gets drafted into a good situation and probably get him drafted high, so I won't be surprised if he enters the draft. Justin Edwards was the highest recruit for Kentucky in the 2023 recruiting class, being ranked 3rd. But he didn't play up to expectations being ranked that high. He finished the season averaging 8.8 points, 3.4 rebounds, and he shot 48.6% from the field and 36.5% from three. Justin Edwards was a late bloomer. In the beginning of the season, at times he got lost in the offense and he didn't assert himself, but towards the end of the season, he started being more aggressive scoring the ball, and he was shooting the ball well, especially from three. He's the type of player who should have went to a college where he's the first option and the offense was ran through him to show his full skill set. Y'all feel what I'm saying, plugins? On this Kentucky team, he wasn't the first, second, or third option. It's a lot of things we didn't get to see from Justin Edwards this season. If he was on a team where he was the first option, he probably would have went crazy during his freshman year and been a top 10 pick. He should come back to college for another season, but he's a 6'8" wing with a high ceiling, and he could be one of those players whose game is better for the NBA. I'm curious to see if he will come back to Kentucky, transfer to a different college, or go to the NBA. Zvonimir was a player Kentucky got overseas. We thought he wasn't going to play this season because of the NCAA. We all know about the drama he had about the test score and the admissions office for Kentucky not letting him enroll. So he missed most of the season because of that, but he ended up playing 15 games. In his debut, he went off and dropped 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 assists. He was 3 for 4 from 3, and Kentucky fans were hyped by his first game, and at the time when he made his debut, Kentucky really needed a big to step up, and Zvonimir showed exactly what they needed. But after his first game, the hype quickly faded, and he never turned into that superstar player we thought he would be. He ended the season averaging 5.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, shooting 57.7% from the field and 37.5% from three. Zvonimir is a unicorn type of player. He's 7'2", he has a solid jump shot, he's good in the pick and roll, he moves well up and down the court, and he's a solid shot blocker. If he declares for the 2024 NBA draft, some team out there will take a risk on a prospect like him. He fits what the bigs do in today's NBA, being able to score in the paint and score on the perimeter, so he might end up being a solid player in the NBA. Robert Dillingham was ranked 15 in the 2023 class. He was considered as one of the shiftiest players ever in high school. It was a lot of question marks about him. People thought his flashy play style would not translate to college, but he proved everybody wrong in his freshman season, and he was considered as one of the best scorers in college. He ended the season averaging 15.2 points, 2.9 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and he was shooting 47.5% from the field and 44.4% from three. He put up those stats coming off the bench, which is crazy. Most people were confused on why Coach Cal had him coming off the bench and not starting him when he was one of the best guards on the team. He showed scouts he can be an elite three-point shooter. He has no problems finishing at the rim, being an undersized guard. He showed off his athleticism and how shifty he is with the ball in his hands, and he has good court vision. He was making some accurate passes on the court this season. He definitely needs to work on his defense and cut down on turnovers, but his offensive bag is so deep, he's going to be a problem in the NBA. He's projected to be a top 3 pick. This is the highest his draft stock is ever going to be, and at worst, he's going to go top 5, so there's no point coming back to college. Sheppard was ranked 25 in the 2023 class. He was known as an elite three-point shooter. Going into his freshman season, he was thought to be a solid rotational player and maybe play 2 or 4 years of college basketball. Nobody thought he would be a one-and-done player. But Sheppard shocked everyone. He's one of the best three-point shooters, shooting 52.1%. He finished the season averaging 12.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 2.5 steals per game. He showed NBA scouts he's an elite two-way player, and he can knock down threes at a high level, and he can be a good on-ball defender. He's one of the best guards this season when it comes to getting steals. With the amazing season he had, he's projected to be a top 5 pick, and some mock drafts have him going as the first pick. But his draft stock could take a hit for his performance in the NCAA Tournament. It seemed like the lights were too bright for him, and he disappeared in the game. He only scored 3 points. Honestly, that might be the worst game I've seen him play this season, and it came at the worst possible time because that was the last game. Sheppard should probably declare for the 2024 NBA draft. I won't be surprised if he came back to Kentucky, though. He was never thinking about being a one-and-done player. He came to Kentucky to build a legacy. Both his parents went to Kentucky, so it was always his dream to be a Kentucky Wildcat, and I believe this is not the way he wants to go out. This is not how he wants to leave his legacy, so I can see him coming back for a sophomore season. Now let's talk about what's next for Coach Cal. It seems like Kentucky fans want him fired. He might be on the hot seat after being bounced in the first round. He has underachieved with a lot of talent he has had at Kentucky. In the last 5 years, Kentucky's now 1-4 in their last games in the NCAA Tournament, 1-5 in their last 6 SEC games, and they haven't won an SEC championship since the 2017-2018 season, and haven't won an NCAA championship since 2012. So Kentucky fans are tired of not winning championships when they always get all this talent every season, but they never win anything. I don't think he's going to get fired. He has a big track record of getting players to the NBA. He has coached numerous players who became NBA All-Stars, so yeah, it'll be nice if he could win national championships with the stacked rosters he always gets, but on the other side, he makes sure players are ready for the next level. Honestly, these top recruits coming out of high school, they want to get to the NBA as quick as possible and get with a coach that's going to have them ready, and that's what Coach Cal does for players. If we think about it, players are going to Kentucky to get ready for the NBA. They're not thinking about winning a national championship, and I know Kentucky fans are sick and tired of that. One thing Coach Cal can change is how he recruits. Maybe it's time to start recruiting the top recruits all the time and get recruits you can develop for 2 to 3 years. All these teams that do well in the NCAA tournament and in the conference tournaments, they all have older players mixed with young players, but the team is not loaded with young freshmen. Y'all feel what I'm saying, plugins? Having a roster with just freshmen is not going to win you a national championship nowadays, so we'll see how Coach Cal does. Maybe he'll keep recruiting how he does, and he'll get a bunch of veteran players in the transfer portal every year to balance out the roster. Drop in the comments what freshmen should come back for the sophomore season. Should Kentucky move on from Coach Cal? Drop y'all opinions in the comments. Drop a like on the video and sub to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you know when I post. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next video. Till next time.